Hello and thank you for tuning in. I'm sure you had a wonderful time in the week of 15th August. There was so much of a feeling of a great festival in the air, what with the national flags and anthems and a lot of activities planned by societies, families. It must have been very difficult to not think about it even now. But the best part is it hasn't ended with the passing of that week or the end of the month. As we already know, it is just the start of the Ambalika, which is a period of 75 years leading to the year 2047, when we will have completed 100 years of being an independent nation. Wow, isn't that magnificent? That very thought, that very statement, I think is enough to bring out the passive patriot in each one of us and try to make it active in every possible area of building both the nation as well as ourselves. And then, when there is a book like this to help you give direction, to help stoke that flame, it is a humbling experience for us as the authors of this book. Over the last 1 month, we have had people across all walks of life appreciate how much knowing about these tribal warriors has meant to them. Students, artists, corporate professionals, administrators, celebrities, actors. They have all been in awe of the contribution made by each and every one of these warriors. And to know that this book and their stories and sacrifices have been so well acknowledged at the right time is in itself a rewarding feeling for us. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to bring this book to you, and thank you even more for reading this book and letting us know how it has impacted your lives. And I hope it continues to inspire you in the days and years to come. Imagine that you are reading the latest book written by your favorite author. You are totally immersed in it, reading sentence after sentence, page after page, when boom, you encounter a word which has totally thrown you off the track. It looks like it's an English word or the language in which you are reading that book, and certainly it does not sound like you know it. It looks, feels unfamiliar, you do not know how to pronounce it, and you certainly don't know the meaning of that word. This can happen in any language, of course, and if you are like me, you will choose to skip knowing anything more about that word and hop forward, because you see, it's the story that we are interested in. It's the story that has got us engrossed, not the words. We can always come back with a dictionary later and find out what the word means and how to pronounce it and blah blah blah. But we don't want to miss that thrill of the speed with which we are reading. That, my dear friends, is the true sign of a voracious and addicted reader. But somehow, if you can get yourself to pause at that unknown word and take a little bit of effort to get to know the meaning of the word right then itself, then as you proceed through the story, you can enjoy it even more deeply. Yes, it's true. It's definitely a test of our patience, but if you can somehow get to do that, the reward is totally fulfilling. Now, if it is just about the meaning of that unknown word, certainly the dictionary can help. But what about the pronunciation? Yes, the dictionary does give instructions on how to pronounce it, breaks it down into syllables and tells you how to do it. And of course, today you have Google to help you a little bit more with that. However, how do you know that you've gotten it right? That's quite a bit of a challenge. And so, to help you through with that, in this video, I'm going to help you with the pronunciations and meanings, of course, of 5 words and phrases that you are likely to encounter in this book that is going to act as a speed breaker. Trust me, it will. So let's get started. Here's is our first word, which you're going to encounter on the chapter titled Talakal Chandu, the warrior from present-day Wayanad district in Kerala. When you hear Kerala, you know immediately that we're going to talk about the language Malayalam. So, how is this word pronounced in Malayalam is our first point of investigation. By the way, before that, what does it mean? And in what context is it used? This is the name of a place. And more specifically, this is the name of the capital of the kingdom ruled by Payashhi Raja. So, if it is a royal city, obviously it has to have a very special meaning. And what this means in this case is the garden of the deer or deer garden. And it's deer the animal. So now let us break down this word into its subwords, so you know how to pronounce it combinedly. Vadi is the part which refers to garden, and Man is the Malayalam word for deer. So together this is pronounced as Mananthavady, the garden of the deers. And I hope this helps you. Remember in the last episode I was telling you about how it is easier to pronounce a word if we know how it is written in Hindi? That principle is 100% applicable in the case of this word. If you look at it how it's written in English and try to pronounce it, you're going to make the same mistake that I always have been doing, and you will say Tana. But actually, after you look at it Hindi pronunciation, you will realize it's Tana. Tana. Bull. So how does this make you more intelligent and knowledgeable as a reader? Well, in the chapter on Jatra Orao in the book, who was the founder of the Tana Bhagat movement, what he was actually doing, or rather the focus of his movement, was to pull the members of his community towards God through devotion. Tana Bhagat. Bhagat meaning devotee of God. Tana means pull. So together what it means is pulling the devotee of God through devotion. And that is what his movement focused on, and it was through that he was trying to free his people from the British administration. So now it makes sense when you read about the Tana Bhagat movement, right? One of the most talked tribal revolts is the Santhal Rebellion of 1855. In the Santhali language, this is referred to as this word. Well, if you are predominantly an English speaker, most likely you're going to pronounce this as Hal. But again, if you look at the Hindi way of writing it or the Santhali way of writing it, if you know that language, you will realize that the U over here is to give a long sound. Ooh. So by that stretch of knowledge, this word is going to be pronounced as Hool. Santhal Hool. And it means rebellion. And in the book, you're going to read about how this word was used by Siddhokanu Chand Bhairav, the Murmu brothers, when on the 13th of June, they announced the rebellion against the British administration with shouts of Hool, Hool. And that is the power of this word, Santhal Hool. Now, in the chapter on U Tirad Singh, you will notice that along with the word king, we have also used this word. Now, in an English word, when you see Y and I together, you get so confused as to how are you going to pronounce it. Well, let me make it easy for you by having done the hard work. It's pronounced as seam. Like, think of the word seamless. Seam, that's it. In that word, it is S-E-A-M. Over here, it is S-Y-I-E-M. Seam. Some people also have a tendency to pronounce this as Syiem, which probably is fine if you're already familiar with the word seam, if you know that this word exists. But I guess for many of you, this would be the first time you are even encountering this word. So it's pronounced as Syiem, and it's the Khasi word for king or the eldest chief, or the person who's going to be appointed as the chief or the king of that community or that village or that region. Siems exist even today, and while they no longer enjoy that same level of political power as in the olden days, they still are a very important personage when it comes to decision making. So hats off to Syiem U Tirot Singh. Bonus time! When we were writing this book, we tried our best to avoid too much of influence of colloquial or regional languages. However, in certain instances, it was necessary to bring it in so that we could convey faithfully, with great fidelity, the actual sentiments felt by the people of that particular community. And the chapter on Talakal Chandu is one such. The Kuruchians deeply resented the unwholesome and unacceptable style of administration meted out by the British, the East India Company at that point in time. And while of course it was unacceptable for everyone across the country, but at that point in time, the kind of atrocities that they were facing had to be presented, summed up and presented to the reader in a particular way so that they could appreciate the pain of that community. And for this, while researching, I came across a sort of slogan that they used to arouse and inspire the community members to fight against the British. And that was this. Whoa, that's a lot of W and T and P and oh, it's just too long. It certainly is in English, and you have absolutely no idea how to pronounce this and what it means. Let me help you. And this is very exciting and interesting, trust me on that. We'll go step by step. Watta, toppikare, nattilninnum, purathakanam. What does it mean? It means the wearers of the rounded cap have to be thrown out of the country. Of the country is implied, but thrown out is part of the sentence. So that's the meaning. How to pronounce this? Let's go slow and easy. Watta means round. It's referring to the shape here. Toppi, the word is toppikare. It's split into two, toppi and kare. Toppi is the cap. Kare is wearer of the cap. Toppikare, wearer of the cap. So Watta toppikare now means the wearer of the round shaped cap. Nattilninnum. Again, there are two words. Nattil meaning our native land. Ninnum, from here. So nattilninnum means from our native land. And then comes the last word. Purathakanam. Two words. Puratha means outside. Akanam means we have to get them. So purathakanam means we have to get them outside. So now when you look at this entire sentence together, you get the meaning, don't you? The wearers of the round cap have to be thrown out of our native land. So that's it. Watta toppikare nattilninnum purathakanam. Exciting? I hope so. I had great fun discovering this, pronouncing it, learning what it really means, and of course, teaching you to do that. And our final word for this episode is this. This is a word you're going to find in the chapter on Putli Maya Devi Tamam, and also fleetingly referenced to in the chapter on Helen Lepcha. This is a place in present-day West Bengal, near Darjeeling, and it means the place of the white orchid or the land of the white orchid. And so now, how is it pronounced? So you can split it up into 3 syllables. Kurseong. So when you join it, it becomes Kurseong. You can maybe say kursi, the Hindi chair, Hindi word for chair, kursi, and ong. Ong is something we can all pronounce easily, right? So kursi plus ong, kurseong, or you can go through the syllable way, which is kurseong. Either way, its pronunciation remains the same, kurseong. And I hope that was easy for you. And that's it for this video. I'll see you again soon. Till then, take care. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.